have many salvations, many salvations. And in the past, we did things a certain way, like we do this on Sunday morning. You're probably used to it. Somebody comes up to the altar and they wait on the preacher to go talk to them. I can't do that in revival. This place is going to be flooded. I've already asked God to flood it. I don't expect him to do anything less than flood it. Matter of fact, I hope he moves some of you. Now, some of you've got a 16-penny double-head nail and you're stuck to the pew and you won't move. I've been here 7 years. Some of you have never been in the altar. I hope revival comes to your heart. Now, I realize that's a hard saying, but you're going to tell me in 7 years I've been your pastor and God's never spoke to you that moved you to the altar. We need revival. See, that's not you. If you can't tell you need revival, if that's happened, some of you are going to say, well, preacher, I ain't been to the altar in 50 years. You need revival. See, that's the whole idea behind it. When a lost world does not see a church that moves freely to the altar, they don't move freely to the altar. That's what it takes. It takes us being willing to know that, and it takes us being willing to see God do that. Now, we had a parking lot service. I don't know about you, but I think I've done my last 11 o'clock July, the 4th weekend. Hot. It was hot, wasn't it? It was hot. If you see the preacher preach without his jacket on, you know it's hot. Now, I was in Africa, and it would be 104, 105 degrees, and I've had my jacket on. But that wasn't North Georgia, North Carolina hot. Muggy hot. Even in the shade, you're sweating. I mean, you know how when it's hot when you sweat in the shade. So that's how bad it was. And so and I know many of us probably didn't think anyone would be saved on that day. We had a good day, but I go into my office after the service is over and try to Purell down, because I've been wiping sweat and trying to wash my hands in the bathroom. And all of a sudden, my son-in-law comes in with my granddaughter, and he says, Paw, he says, Bailey wants to give her heart to Jesus. And I said, oh, how wonderful. And so Bailey, I'm so proud of you. And Bailey gave her heart to Jesus. I let Daddy do all the leading, because daddies need to lead their little girls to the Lord. And so, Bailey, I'm so proud of you, and so thankful that she responded. She says, Daddy, that's what I need to do. If y'all remember, I gave a pretty hard invitation there, and she wanted to come up then, but she said, there was a lot of people. That broke my heart. Because none of that lot of people came either. I don't want a revival like that. I don't want a revival where my church is scared to come to the altar. Because I promise you, we're not going to have much of revival. It's going to be a secret revival, a silent revival. It's going to be a shut-up revival. It's going to be one of those. If we're not willing to move and pray and seek God's face, I don't know how much you've been praying about revival at home, but do you know what today is? Today is 53 days before revival. Now, I don't know if you've been keeping up with it that much, but I know Sunday is 50 days to revival, because I've counted it back on my calendar, and I've been thinking about it. That's a jubilee. That's something to shout about and sing about, ain't it? And I look around, I see here Brother Charlie over here, Charles Gouge. And Charles been telling me about one of his preacher buddies having a revival down in South Georgia. How many has been saved now, Brother Charles?
Well, as of last Friday, there was 247 since June 1st.
Now, I think we could use a little of that around here, don't you? Since June the 1st, he said. So you can see revivals broke out in that area, and it can break out here in our area too. It's not going to help if you wait on the preacher just to ask somebody to come to revival. No, just not going to happen. I can only ask so many people. But if we all ask people to come to revival, I'm here to tell you, some people that don't know they need revival